All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to see how we can do here with the sun. It is a little bright, but we're going to try and make it happen. So today we are doing a collective reading for the Twin Flame Collective for the new moon that is coming up here on August 23rd. That is my birthday, so I'm feeling specially drawn to do a reading just for my own sake because I'm very interested to know, with my birthday being on the new moon, what this is going to bring. I'm already getting so excited. So if you can feel this through the screen, let me know in the comments below. But I'm already getting so excited to share this with you. So basically, these collective readings, of course, always use your discernment. Take what resonates. If there's a part of the reading that does not resonate for you, this is a divination tool. You don't have to agree to every single part of the reading to call in parts of it that do resonate with you or that you do want to manifest, okay? So the way my readings normally work is I pull a card from my own created deck. So this is kind of my own magic. And we're just going to basically interpret what's going on for the collective in that sense. So Spirit, we are asking for messages of the highest alignment only for the Twin Flame Collective that my channel reaches. So if you have found this video is for you. This is also a timeless reading. So even if you are not seeing it around the time of the new moon, this might be also what you are moving through at this time, and that's why it's relevant. That's why it's coming up. But specifically for us today, we are going to be sharing what's coming up for the new moon energy on August 23rd, my birthday. So, okay, let's take a look in here. Spirit, what can we look for this energy? High tides. Okay, so we've got one coming in. Taking a second one. Fearful surrender. Okay, we've got some power. And balancing act. Okay, so I'm going to show you here. Okay, I thought that was two cards at first, but it's only one. So we have high tides. We have fearful surrender. Okay. And we have balancing act. Okay. So what we're talking about here when it comes to high tides. So I like to think of this card, and we take it as a very literal sense, right? Like tides can be high, which is really interesting because here in South Africa, I live right by the ocean, and new moon and full moon, we normally call spring tides. So that is actually with the moon when the tides are the highest, like highest and lowest, like both, which is where you get this yin yang, highest and lowest. So keep in mind that in terms of if you take this really literally, this is when the tides are actually the highest. And what do we have here? The sun. Okay, so what's happening with the moon at this time, right? The tides are high. We have the sun being almost eclipsed by the moon energy, which is interesting because normally we consider this to be the case during a full moon. Okay, is when our subconscious energies are like the highest, right? Because you can see the moon. The moon is full. But what this is really telling me is actually during this new moon, you might actually have full moon vibes, if that makes sense. You might not experience this new moon as like new moon energy if you're somebody that can usually distinguish the two. You might actually feel what you feel during a full moon time. So this can actually be a time of kind of purging, but also a time of like just knowing that if you can get your sailboat, again taking it literally, if you can get your sailboat on with the waves, right? If you can ride the waves, you're going to be able to surpass with this energy. It's so interesting. You're going to be able to use that subconscious watery emotional energy to actually surpass the sun, which is our conscious energy, and like override that. So there's something here about you being able to override your consciousness or your conscious program. So maybe this is even you are accessing a new level of consciousness. You are accessing a new high, right? Like a new high. You're accessing a new high that maybe you haven't previously been able to access. So let me know how this resonates for you in your specific scenario. This is actually true for me as I'm doing this reading. This has actually been true for me because I've been having all of these kinds of like, I love myself, I love my body, I love, I've been feeling a lot more clear energetically. And that's been showing up in my mantras, in my meditations. I've been able to go much deeper in my meditations than I have in a long time. So notice if this is coming up for you also during this new moon time. So this is what this is telling me is we're gaining access to something we didn't have access to before, and that may show up for you in a lot of different ways. I'm actually even hearing that may show up for you in different skills. If you've been wanting to try something new, now during this new moon energy is a really good time to try something new. So I'll also give you an example from my own life. I've been wanting to start making my own clothing. I've been wanting to shift over into more sustainable fabrics for a long time. And over the last months, I've been repairing my own clothing. So I wholeheartedly believe in sustainability. So if something of mine breaks, I will try to repair it before I throw it away and buy something new. So over this amount of time, I've been kind of altering and repairing my own clothes, especially during the last years of being pregnant and then postpartum. I've altered my clothes a lot to fit my changing body. And I was like, wait a second, I'm actually developing the skills to actually be able to make my own clothes. So that might be true for you in a lot of other different aspects. Maybe musical stuff is coming on board for you. Maybe creative pursuits are coming on board for you. But likely this is going to be something that you probably mastered in maybe a past life, and now you're gaining access to that level of consciousness. Okay, so this is very exciting. This is very exciting. So if the emotions are highs or you're having a lot of high highs and low lows, that's where I feel like this, well, both actually, this balancing act and this fearful surrender come in. Because when we're doing a balancing act, right, and we just talked about this in my twin flame community, so it's amazing that it's coming up for the energies right now because we literally just talked about this, and this was a recorded session. So if you're interested in diving deeper into balance, neutrality, and duality, we did an entire extensive lesson and discussion on this in my twin flame community, and you can actually unlock that within the community. So if you'd like to join, you can access your free trial down below. But we were talking about a balancing act, and one of the members brought up something really profound, that like if you're trying to balance, you're kind of already out of balance, right? So if you're trying to do this thing, it's actually drop, and that's where the fearful surrender comes in, right? Because we like to egoically think that we can balance. Oh, I'm balancing my masculine, I'm balancing my feminine, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, right? And this is where the ego comes in and the ego spirituality comes in, because we like to have control over the awakening journey. But in reality, awakening is happening to us. And this is why it's so scary, because on this journey, the process of awakening is so powerful that we're on the journey. Especially if you're a twin flame, you know what I'm talking about. You're on the journey. Your awakening is going to happen, like whether you're on board or not. It's just a matter of the degree of pain. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. Your awakening is going to happen whether you're on board or not. But what will make the difference is the degree of pain you experience and the resistance you experience. So most of us know the more resistance we have in our system to what's coming up, the more pain there often is, because there's a level of like holding, right? If we're holding, that means we're not surrendered. And surrendering, this is why it's a fearful surrender. Okay, but look how beautiful. You have the lightning strike, and then you have the hand, and then you have the flower growing, reaching out of the hand. Okay, so what that's telling us is you might be afraid to surrender to your own process, to your own truth. Oh, I feel that so deeply in my heart and my solar plexus. So let me know if your heart and your solar plexus are going off right now. You might be afraid to surrender fully to your own light, your own expression, or even your own darkness. It can be either. Again, that's this balancing act. But we have to be willing to surrender to what's coming up, whether it's your light, whether it's your dark. Both are needed. And this is what we were talking about in my community. Both are needed. We need duality in this universe. We need duality in order to perceive, in order to live. So that means we need to honor. We need to surrender to our darkness. We need to surrender to our lightness. Now, that doesn't mean becoming dark. That means taking darkness as a part of yourself. And the same thing is true with your light. I actually have a feeling for this reading. Many of you that are watching this, you actually have been more afraid of your light than you have been of your dark. Wow, that's powerful. You are the one that's been willing to do the shadow work. You've been willing to look at the dark. You've been willing to reclaim those darker parts of yourself, but you haven't been willing to reclaim your divinity, reclaim your light, reclaim your heart, reclaim your soul. You've been afraid of your own power. So you've been fine doing the work. You've actually been super diligent doing the work. But what this is telling me is with this high tide, with this access to new levels of consciousness, you're also going to be asked to surrender to those levels of consciousness and knowing that that is your own light. That is your light. That is the light that you came here to express. It's, yes, in a sense, it's the universe's light. Yes, in a sense, it's spirit's light, but it's also yours. And we've kind of cut ourselves off from feeling our connection to our own divinity in that way because we've been so humble. So maybe you're somebody that's very humble. Maybe you're somebody that struggles with imposter syndrome and feeling like you're not good enough, or maybe that your light doesn't have value. But what this is telling you is exactly the opposite. You need to surrender to that divine within you. Surrender to your own light, because that is the purest part of your expression. That is the part of your expression that's been wanting to come forward for so long, but you've been blocking it, saying, no, it's not time, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough, I'm not perfect yet, I'm not whole, I'm not complete. All of the limiting beliefs you've had around bringing this part of yourself forward are now kind of, again, this is where like it's coming over your conscious mind, right? These beliefs that you've had, these conscious daytime waking beliefs around why you're not ready yet, or why it can't be you, or why it can't work out. This light is coming over as a wave, and it's going to swallow all of that up, and you are going to do nothing but shine. You are going to do nothing but shine. So this is the process that's coming forward for you. This is quite amazing and quite beautiful. I was seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 on my clock, which to me is a symbol of it's going to be easy. Okay, it's going to be easy. It's not going to feel like work. You've been doing the work. You've been doing the shadow work. And in comparison to that, this is going to feel much easier. So I want to ask Spirit, what can we do to get on board with this process? Like, obviously we have the fearful surrender, but can you give us a little more clarity around that? And like, what can we do to get on board with this process of bringing more light forward? Glowing. It's already happening, okay? You're already glowing in the darkness. So there's really nothing you can do more to get on board. If you're like me, you're always asking, what more can I do? There's nothing more you can do in this scenario. It is like, it's already happening. It's already in process. So there's nothing really you can do to either slow it down or to get more on board, right? Like, it's already happening. It's already unfolding. And that's why the surrender is so beautiful, because it's like, you really didn't have a choice to begin with. So yeah, so just laugh about it. Just laugh about it. You really didn't have a choice to begin with. It was already going to unfold. Like, this is part of, I'm seeing like a bigger divine plan. So those of us that like to be control freaks, this is part of you blooming. Those of us that like to be control freaks that like to egoically pretend like we have it all figured out, that we know the answers, that we're controlling our awakening, we're not. You are not, I am not, we are not controlling our awakening. Our awakening is happening through us, okay? Through us. So yes, we are a participant of our awakening, but our awakening is much larger than us, okay? We don't have to try. And again, this is where we bring that trying energy back. We don't have to try to balance. We don't have to try to awaken. Awakening is our natural state. Being awakened is our natural state. So when we surrender, we step back in, or we fall back in, we ease back in to our natural state, which is awakened, which is heart-centered, which is aligned. Okay, so what you're really being urged to during this time is actually more so of just a letting go and accepting what's coming to you as your own divine reflection, right? So allowing more love in, allowing more light in, and knowing that that is you. You're not receiving anything that you weren't worthy of. You're receiving a beautiful divine reflection of yourself, okay? And I think we're going to leave it there. So let me know in the comments below how this resonated with you. If you want to dive deeper into a community that is also supporting this beautiful awakening process, you can check the link down below. You can activate a 7-day free trial. And there are so many beautiful things that are coming in this community. One, it's just growing. So that's beautiful in and of itself, because there's always things happening and always people asking questions and catalyzing each other. But also the beautiful thing about this community is I'm creating an 11-week course to take you through the process of the twin flame journey, both spiritual and practical. So it's like an all-encompassing journey, and it's self-led. So you move at your own pace, and then you can unlock our library of webinars. So we meet every other week in a live webinar, either meditations or lessons, sometimes both. And through that, you can take the recorded ones and rewatch all of the previous ones. So you're getting an incredible amount of wisdom, an incredible amount of content when you join, and an incredible amount of value. And so join now before I release this new course that I'm going to be putting on there, because once I release that course, the price is going up. So get in now while you have the opportunity to, and yeah, we'll see you there. I'm sending you so much love, and we'll see you in the next video. Big love. Bye.